Carl Jung said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Most people do not know what happened to their ancestors. Secrets are kept, but that silence is what echoes through the generations, screaming through the self-sabotaging behaviors of later descendants. What if the real reason you struggle with addiction is because of an aborted sibling that came before you, an abortion that was never talked about? What if the real reason you can't lose weight is because of sexual trauma that happened maybe not to you, but to an ancestor? What if the real reason you struggle in business is because of an ancestor who had everything taken away from them? Most people think that self-sabotage comes from low self-esteem, limiting beliefs like I'm not good enough, or I never get what I want, or why even try? It never works out anyways. And yes, those beliefs are real and they're painful. But they're not the full story. Saying self-sabotage is a confidence issue is kind of like looking at the tip of an iceberg and thinking, that's all there is. What most people are unaware of is that the roots of self-sabotage are linked not only to your subconscious beliefs, but also your ancestral trauma. If you've been doing the work, going to therapy, journaling, meditating, you've done all the things and you're still not really seeing the results you're looking for, then I invite you to keep an open mind, because what I'm about to share with you could change your life for the better. It did mine. Healing ancestral trauma has a way of moving mountains where other healing modalities just scratch the surface. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 self-sabotaging behaviors and how they are rooted in ancestral trauma. For those of you who are new, my name is Jess, and I'm a master at reprogramming the subconscious mind and healing ancestral trauma so that I can help people eliminate their self-sabotage. Before we get started, if you get any value out of this video, please like and share this video. It really helps the channel grow more than you know. And I would love to hear what comes up for you as you watch this content. I just ask that you please leave comments that are kind and respectful, since we are talking about trauma. Thank you. Let's break down the science of how trauma gets passed down to you. If we look at painful events like war, suicide, abandonment, or early death of a parent or child, although it might never be talked about, it doesn't just disappear. This creates such a profound shock on a family that the stress is carried forward from one generation to the next. When pain is too great, people often avoid it and suppress it. What the mind desperately tries to forget, the body always remembers. And that pain resurfaces later as symptoms that doctors can't explain. When your grandmother was 5 months pregnant with your mother already had all the eggs she would ever have in her lifetime, which means that you were already present inside your grandmother. You were formed in an environment that was already carrying your family's emotional and biochemical history. The trauma that your grandmother experiences will impact you and the cells of those eggs forming in your mother. Trauma literally imprints itself in the DNA. This is the science behind epigenetics. Stress changes how genes express themselves, turning some on and silencing others. This is how family history becomes our biology. So here are 5 signs you're carrying ancestral trauma. The first one is your self-sabotaging behaviors have this unconscious pull towards death. On the surface, this can look like addiction, suicidal thoughts, reckless behavior, and depression. You might be energetically connected with a sibling who died in the womb, a sibling who was aborted before you were born, or an ancestor who died tragically. Or maybe you have a parent who is dying, and you unconsciously say, rather I go than you. Addiction can also be a signal of a broken connection with a father, especially if he was absent emotionally or physically. A child who grows up without a father never learns how to be a father, and later generations will feel that absence and turn toward substances to feel that wound. Number 2 is you experience overwhelming and intense emotions that are out of proportion to the context of the event. On the surface, you might experience intense anxiety, panic, abandonment, fears, emotional flooding. Something that should be small and insignificant has this overwhelming effect on you and your nervous system, causing you to overreact. Now, you may be carrying emotions that don't belong to you. Maybe the grief you feel is connected to a mother in your family line who never processed her grief around losing her child. Or you're connected to a grandfather who was silenced by the horrors he saw in war. Or an aunt who wasn't allowed to be with the love of her life, and you feel her pain. Or you're connected to the abandonment pain of a forgotten baby who was left on a basket on someone's door. These emotions don't just end when a generation passes. They echo through the lineage until someone is finally ready to feel them. What if those intense emotions you're feeling aren't even yours, but an ancestor of yours screaming through you, desperately wanting to be seen and heard? And until you see them, you won't stop feeling for them. Number 3, you struggle with chronic health issues or weight. On the surface, maybe you are suffering from an autoimmune issue, or you have a tumor, or weight gain, or cancer, and sometimes you might have an unexplained issue that modern medicine can't give you an answer to. Or maybe you have a sugar addiction. Maybe an ancestor of yours was abused. They experienced incest, or was molested, or violated, and that extra weight that you can't seem to get rid of no matter what you do is an unconscious form of protection against the perpetrator. It can be a form of energetic padding from danger. And until that ancestor is seen and acknowledged and healed, that weight will never go away no matter what you do. Illness in general can be a way that the body carries pain that the family hasn't processed. The symptoms become the manifestation of the family's suppressed trauma. Now, sugar addiction can be connected to a missing mother, whether she was missing physically or emotionally, and the sugar becomes the sweetness the child is longing for since the love of the mother wasn't present. It's like they're trying to fill a void with the sweetness of life they so desperately crave. Number 4 is you keep repeating the same painful relationship patterns. On the surface, maybe you attract or are attracted to unavailable partners. You feel abandoned or repeat toxic cycles. You've consciously learned your lessons, but you subconsciously keep finding yourself repeating these same dynamics, and you're baffled as to why decades of talk therapy haven't helped you. You may be entangled with an ancestor who was forced to get married and was trapped in an abusive partnership. In some people's family line, love and suffering become fused. See, our attachment style is handed down from our mother to us. It's handed down the family line. Your father and mother hand down to you what they received themselves. If you'd like to learn more about attachment styles and how they sabotage love, you can check out this playlist up here. Number 5 is you sabotage money, success, or stability. On the surface, you work hard, but you can't hold on to money. Maybe you make money, but it just slips through your fingers and you never really are able to save and feel financially stable. Or maybe you attract opportunities and then push them away. This could be connected to an ancestor who was betrayed, maybe stolen from, and who lost everything to the government. And out of an unconscious loyalty, you recreate their fate. Not because you want to, but because that ancestor's pain was suppressed, ignored, forgotten, and until it is seen and acknowledged, you're going to unconsciously repeat their pain, thinking it's yours. Your self-sabotaging behaviors might be rooted in limiting beliefs about yourself, and they might also be rooted in ancestral trauma. Now, I've worked with a lot of people around their self-sabotaging behaviors, and you have to heal your own personal trauma and your ancestral trauma to really get results. If what you have tried has not worked for you thus far and you feel called, I invite you to sign up for a complimentary 15-minute Zoom call. The link is in the description below, and we can see if working together would be a good fit. Because this might actually be the thing that shifts everything for you for the better. It did for me, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this. When we bring the unconscious pain of our ancestors into the light, we can finally stop mistaking inherited pain for our own personal failure. And that's when healing can truly begin.